Hello everyone and welcome to Torment Tides of Numenera. I was gonna play this blind, but yeah, I did play the first one blind, but this is kind of like, yeah. Let's see. I played the first Torment, roughly about 40 times, maybe at least 30, 32 something, 36 maybe, but there's a lot. I played it a lot, and I backed this Kickstarter like years ago, and I finally put out the game today. This is like the launch day, by the way, and I am playing it. I'm going to put it up as soon as I possibly can. It's not going to be a long video because I don't have that much time, but because I need to go to work. But in any case, let's do it. Will it be male or female? I don't know. Let's flip a coin. Heads to be male, tails to be female. And I'm going to be a female. Your mind wakes.
It wakes in darkness.
Okay, never mind.
Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important. As if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open.
Okay, let's look at the body.
The body is... wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this?
Good question.
Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Let's try to fly not to catch the wind.
Instinctively, you spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well. And you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground.
I know things actually matter as you choose them, because it actually opens up or doesn't open up a different dialogue options as the game progresses, but I'll try to remember what happened.
It's hazy. You were in a tall passageway, its sides slicked with dew, the air warm and moist, as if you were caught in the breath of a giant organism. You remember fleeing in fear and exhilaration, laughing through the terror. What was it that pursued you? Something ancient and cold, its coiling power the promise of oblivion. Its shadowed tendrils struck at you, and the walls where they landed were torn apart, utterly destroyed beyond any hope of repair. You leapt into a membranous cocoon and fell from the station, the moon. And then you were empty. But who were you? What was that creature? A word surfaces in your thoughts, and you seize it before it vanishes. Sorrow. The world fills your sight. You're about to hit.
I should try to stop the fall one last time. But give up and die sounds kind of interesting.
As the water rushes at you, horrifyingly quickly, you see a pair of figures standing near a small glassy dome. You're headed straight for it. One of them looks up, points at you, and you feel your speed slow tremendously. but you are still traveling too fast, and both the figures leap aside as you crash into the crystalline structure with a profound and horrific crunch, pain radiating through every part of your body. And then, darkness.
So yeah, this is the start of the game. Okay.
All right.
Jumble thoughts cloud your head. You study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light. It needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Blah blah blah. Let's examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move the bowl without slashing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Let's use might to carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid. Blah blah blah. Okay. Don't worry if you fail in this task. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. I can put 3 might into it and get 100%. Or I can put 2 and get 80. Get 80. And carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over to the glowing pool of falling light. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading out over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows, and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you've begun to heal from the damage done during your long fall. A voice comes out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello, are you still alive down there? We're up here. Build a path to us and be careful. Back in zoom. Oh, that's just nice.
All right.
Okay. As soon as you touch the orb, memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had moments respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of stale air, your resting point. You breathed water before, and you lived decades beneath the waves. But in this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seemed to be wandering from tasks at hand. He is a genius with machines, as well you know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered with knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes he can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention. But that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. I can deceive him, threaten him, or cast a spell, an esotery, to fix the device yourself. I'm going to... Frack, I don't care, really. Cast a spell necessary to fix the device. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and then shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. You raise the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lights beyond, a passage that links the water-boarded cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies in there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, floating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal. An iridescent fluid coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm rips through the water. The guards won't be far behind. I should disable the sonar pulse. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the dual force field. Almost as if you had built it in the first place, you remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals, the power of both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and see the inky blackness of a pissing eye. A pissing... I don't think that's how I pronounce that word. Eye. The memory begins to fade, as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap of your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. A gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey, far at the end of a dark, whispering field. I guess I'm going this way.
On it. Go.
You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Between the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. You were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately. This seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place more secure than any others we've found? I can use wisdom to convince her, charm to persuade her, or I could draw her attention to more experience, the hidden details. I'm going to convince her with wisdom. A slight chill enters the air as you describe the potential power of the metallic disc below, on the sealed vaults beneath it. She nods. So that's what your surveyor machines are doing down there. You've already chosen this as the site, haven't you? She waits for your affirmation and says, "Alright, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams, and then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the surveyors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but as it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its tasks, and ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise with laughter in her eyes. It seems the construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? But I can use a Numenera. Alright, one thing I don't know how to do. Numenera is actually the game. It's like a D&D like game. I have never played it. Before they use it in this game, I had never even heard of it. I don't know how to say it. To be completely honest with you, I'm gonna call it Numenera, but I don't think that's exactly how you say it. It's Numenera. I think that's how you say it. Numenera. Maybe. But in any case, if I say it wrong, it's because I actually haven't heard it spoken. But as far as like some of these mispronunciation of names and stuff, I don't know how they go. Cause I haven't watched a lot of the videos. I've only watched like a couple of the videos for this. Cause I didn't play the beta because I had signed up for the beta, but I never played it because I got signed up for it. I didn't sign up for it myself. It's part of the process for this. So I put a lot of money into it. Yeah. Anyway. Everything is also in sharp focus, and you see the surveyors, your actuators are corrupted. I don't know why an actuator would be but in any case. Anyway, you dig into the construct's back. It seems not to mind as long as you don't interfere with its task. And definitely you reset the actuators, and you see the energy spark into disused portions of the construct's brain, which would actually do it. The construct resumes its work, and at this time it listens when you speak to it. Acknowledge, and immediately turtles off to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes and fades as you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind. Blocked by a jagged block, you stagger, clutching your head, reclaiming your memories. Hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and it is hunting you. Interesting.
Yes.
A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames, is under attack. Your defenders have fought and died all day, and their still attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to attack them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is a slim sheath in glassy armor and holding a sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She is too young to help. Your enemies have advanced single file, confined by the pauperate. I can trade blows with the giant, duck under a giant swing, or let's fight defensively. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is much more worrisome. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She is stuck behind a giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes roll behind you, her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside of her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time. You dive your dagger up under her chin. You watch before her as her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant and he topples, bisected. The immediate threat ended, your focus on finding a way back to your allies, you open the tower door and rush on the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall. You hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. And I can hurl myself against the door, knocking him to the ground. Crack the door open, sneak past them. Charge through them, counting your defenses to protect you. Let's try sneaking. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly. The sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again and squeeze yourself through the narrow opening and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory fades and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze around you like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room.
On it.
So yeah, I actually got as far as this next part, or the part after this next part. I'll point it out to you as far as I got. Before I realized that I had recorded when I did my previous recording, I had to reinstall the operating system, so because some of my config files got messed up and I couldn't. Long story short, my config for a simple screen recorder, which is what I use to record this, isn't there anymore. So when it decided whenever I reinstalled the simple screen recorder, it said that the default is record all screens. So I basically have Torment running in a small window, and I have the entire desktop there, and yeah. I messed it up because I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, I had to have to re-record it. So I actually had done all this up through the next part, but what time is it even? I've been playing for about a half hour. I'll go through this next part. I'll show you how, because this is where you pick classes. The borderless mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols, daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving and arguing and fighting with each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs, and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of your bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling toward the ceiling. Let's see. And this is different now. The only one, the doppelganger with the clever eyes was the one I had there. It was the only one I had only the same one. So I had one that said like something different either. The intelligent doppelganger with the froward look, froward brow. So I had the observant doppelganger, and I had I forget what the second one was. I think it was a clever looking one, I think is what it was. No, that isn't clever. I had the clever, I had anyway, throw in books. After tucking a few choice tomes under his arm, Doppelganger makes its way over to you. It launches into a fascinating lecture on prior world technologies of all kinds, sentient defenses using the walls of an ancient empire, energy fields protecting a steadfast battalion, and a mutating bacteria, once a beneficial creation perhaps, but now a grotesque weaponized disease. What are my other choices? The intelligent doppelganger with the furrowed brow. The doppelganger holds itself erect among the pressing crowd. He meets your eyes with a confident gaze, triggering familiar memories in the back of your mind. When you return to from your contemplation, the doppelganger is waiting for your decision with a knowing smile. Yeah, I'll do that one. The remaining doppelgangers scatter from the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. His face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it, technology of several kinds. From a myriad of past ages, you get the feeling of it. You would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. The doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open hallway. You take a deep breath and step through. Okay. Okay. The choices are Nano, which I think is kind of sort of the mage-ish type of thing. And then you have Jacks are intrepid explorers and adventurers. They're Jacks of all trades, hence the name. They're more thievish type things, I guess, or more roguish type things, I should say. See, I didn't see this. Pursuit intellect pool, 2 points to distribute to any pool, plus 5 health in each tier at the first. Gains 2 abilities in each tier, can pick one lower skill at tier 1. And Glaive is a more fighterish type person. Plus 1 mind speed, plus 7 health at each tier afterwards. I'm gonna go with Nano. I mean, you don't get heavier medium weapons, but yeah. Bump one up to speed. Because speed actually takes over your initiative, or it modifies your initiative, I should say. Blah blah blah. Innervate removes the negative effects. Quantum step allows you to teleport one ally to a point within range. Resourceful plus 1 level in Cipher use skill. I don't know what that means though. What ciphers are yet? Because I haven't gotten that far. Adaptation is protection. Let's do scan thoughts and adaptation. That sounds good. Blah blah blah. Okay, novice level is blank. Trained is 1. Specialized is 2. If it's 2 red, it's going to be have an inability to level. I get an exploration skill. Let's see. Academic knowledge of the natural science and physical physics of natural sciences and physical creatures. Academic knowledge of machines, mechanics, and the physics of science. Academic knowledge of sciences that are not exactly physical nor natural, including strange or transdimensional creatures. Nah, I'll go with mystical, I guess. I go with mystical. Only ways receive training in weapon skills. That's nice. Okay, I had taken the intelligence, I think. Which is what this is. But how about charming? Yeah, charming drops its intellect to 7. Blah. Swift. Tough. What was clever again? Yeah, let's just do a... Intelligent nano, clever nano. How about learned nano? So you have pools of stuff. And I'm wasting time. So I need to actually go here shortly. I'm wasting time. Observant. What's observant do? No, let's do intelligent. Frag it. Do intelligent. Sure. Alright, the Spectre. Everything about the spectral figure seems dreamlike. He's a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pooled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. He glances at the other figures and frowns. There's like more out of them than we had thought. They're the reflections. They're more like shadows now. Look, I bet you got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body's still out there in the real world, healing from that fall. You need to get out there and finish the process. It shouldn't be too hard. He shrugs. If this place is my mind, why don't I remember any of this, any of you? Well, it's your mind, a construct built to, I don't know, share thoughts, store your true self. Wait, you know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it wasn't the first place for me anyway. You probably know it better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come to you later. Who are those other people? You called them reflections. That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew. Most people you met in the real world and with whom you shared some sort of psychic connection. I don't know how or why, it just happens. Before I met you, it felt like something was hunting me. Do you know what that was? He closes his eyes. That's a memory I don't want to recall. A large, black, furious. It's our death. It's the sorrow. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. But who are you? He pauses and looks down at himself, considering a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm a part of your mind, a splinter that was waiting here for you. Recalled you with the memories of the others who are here. I don't know what happened next. You said I had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? After you wake up from this dream state and attune to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. What's the resonance chamber? I remember pieces about it, but not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. And what do you mean attuned to the tides? Tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something. Except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is, your body in the real world needs tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. So how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it, and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... What the hell is that? The star was anchored to those reflections, devouring their power. You got to get rid of them. Destroy its anchors, or else the Sora will erase us forever. Okay. Crisis beginning to enter a dangerous situation. Crises are a turn-based encounter where you can fight, sneak, or manipulate the environment, or talk your way out of trouble. Each turn you can take one action to activate an ability. You can also make one move. Yes. I'll just do one more effort. Three enemies will come down. I'm gonna put no effort into it. And that's 4. That unit. Fettles are temporary conditions or status that can improve or reduce the character's stats. Your Sora just place a fettle on the remaining reflection. You can't remove this fettle, but you may find a way to overcome it.
Yes. Yes.
6. That actually happened different. You probably don't lose the thing's a cancer. It's an infection. It's unstoppable. But you stopped it. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you with terror in his eyes. That thing, the sorrow, it's been hunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. Your portal to your body is that's the shimmering. Wow, I can't talk. The shimmering done in there. Now go. So much talking. All right, I am going to save before I go into my body. I'll see you all later and stuff, because I need to go. I need to go to work. I'll play. Don't worry. I'll be playing more of this later. I didn't back the game just to. Yeah. Any case, talk to you guys later. See you guys later, guys.